I'd done a video on this last week about how we're getting really stressed out about transfers and getting wound up by the lack of progress, and Jurgen Klopp's in Ibiza with an umbrella on his head. And then he's still saying he's there pitch side after the pre-season friendly. Worried. And he's laughing in people's faces and saying, like, well, you know, I haven't got a message for fans who are nervous because I'm not nervous. So maybe that's my message. I just love the way he conducts himself, and I just wish more people would pay attention to him when he says these things.
I mean, I don't understand why after the Van Dijk thing, when we were just dragged through the mud by the press, that people don't understand that there's no information coming out of Liverpool Football Club about transfers. Yeah. There's just none, and that's the way it should be, you know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the first thing you know is there'll be an announcement. Someone's having a medical, and that's it. That's the first you'll know. Hopefully, that's the first you'll know about.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the turnaround on another transfer is a bit sharper. I mean, if it's a case that we know that would have been a fairly drawn out process because he's been a target for a while. But I could see if something I can imagine we'll see. So if something happens, there'll be something that looks pretty concrete, and it'll then get done in pretty short shifts shortly afterwards, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I think like your dad said after that whole Van Dijk stuff, why would they go out and tell anyone what's going on, or why would Klopp discuss it all?
I don't know how true it is that someone was sacked at Anfield because of that they'd leaked information to Southampton press about it. And if you did that, then obviously you would lose your job.
Yeah.
And everyone in that club now knows that you just do not talk about our transfers situation.
Yeah.
I think Klopp gives off that thing of, you know, if he's calm, like you just said, you kind of hang on to every word that he says, don't you? He's like, like, listen to him, like, there's no reason to be.
I love the fact that you can see it, and literally I was there, and he finished talking to me, and he kind of turned to me and laughed, and it was one of them where you think, managers have to get asked these questions, Chris, and you can see how bored most of them get with it, but I do get that sense from him, and it's just how Jurgen conducts himself, I guess. He just backs himself, doesn't he? And he trusts the people around him, and I get the impression that he's not asked because he knows it's other people's jobs to sort these things out. And then past that, he probably knows his squad pretty well, and I have this feeling that if it all went to shit, he would just work harder at getting more out of what he has around him. You know what I mean? Because I think that's just in his.
He doesn't look like a man who feels his plan is under pressure. Yeah. I think when you, in any walk of life, when you've got something and you're working towards it and you're confident in what your plan is or whatever that is that you've made and you're on that route, he doesn't look like a man who feels like it's all falling apart. He looks like a man who's calm, confident and it's all happening exactly how he's foreseen it and told everybody that it would happen internally. And that's great because, you know, if he was looking at a little bit worried about it and stuff, he just looks dazed and confused half the time that people keep asking him the same fucking questions. Yeah. And he's like, this is like the 50 millionth time you've asked me this question. I've been back a week. Yeah. Like, I've told you the answer. Yeah. The answer hasn't changed. I'm going to sign some players. We're going to win games of football.
The press, and you've got Conte and Mourinho both slagging their own staff off for not getting their transfers over the line. And Jurgen is just laid back.
Everything about Jurgen Klopp, it's like he is like Han Solo in the first Star Wars film. He's the everyman in a fantastical situation, and he sees through the bullshit of it, and he's like
brilliant, Paul.
Yeah, you know, brilliant. But it's like, you know, it's like the Han Solo going, a mystical force that guides us all. You're fucking stupid. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
But he was wrong, wasn't he?
Well, I know. But you know, but Jurgen Klopp is like that. He just cuts through. It's like all those cliches, all those just the levels of just bollocks that have built up around football of like making it all dead important and over important. He just literally slices through it. And he's like you know, like why? He sees it for the madness that is. It's like, and it's funny because I was talking to, it was probably Steve or whatever. It's a couple of times I've been in proximity of him and been able to either ask him a question or been within, have the ability to ask him and not done it. And I never used to be asked about Brendan. Like, I'd ask Brendan Rodgers a question because you could ask one of those stock football questions, whereas he makes me think twice about what I would ask because I want to ask him an interesting question and not just another stock bullshit football question because the world's full of them. Because I just get the impression that he'd just be like, why? When you get this chance to ask a question, why would you waste your time asking a question like one of the ones got asked was like, what is this? What, you know, is this just? Is there anything you can really take from this, or is this just pre-season? He's like, it's the first pre-season game. Like, why have you bothered asking? You know the answer to this question. Why have you asked me the? You could have just answered that question yourself and saved yourself the effort. He's just brilliant, and I do genuinely hope that people do just pay a bit more attention to him, and I hope that people see conspiracies where they want to see them, don't they, Chris? And people go positive PR, and then maybe if you just read Jurgen's words from that, you'd be like, you wouldn't get the intonation. But when you see him deliver it, I see no sense in being anything other than just not 100% relaxed by it, but get a greater sense of relaxation from the way he's.
I do. I certainly do, and I don't need him to speak for that to happen either. I can tell by the actions of the club. You know, the fact that we've not moved on to second targets and stuff like that says to me that they're confident about getting their first targets. Told me that all summer. Yeah. The fact that he comes out after 7 weeks, 6 weeks of speculation and says it just makes me go, brilliant. Thanks. That's amazing. That's all I needed, because you've just basically said that we've been right for what we've been saying, and everybody else is fucking up in arms about something that hasn't happened.